Hi, I'm Daniel Tisch, President and CEO of the Ontario Chamber of Commerce. Chambers are in the bridge building business, metaphorically that is. We build bridges between business and government, between big and small business, between businesses and communities. But you know what? Lately I've been thinking about real-life bridges, specifically the Gordie Howe International Bridge between Windsor and Detroit. In peacetime, bridges are symbols of partnership. In wartime, they become targets, not just in military conflicts, but as we've seen recently, also in a trade war. Canada invested billions of dollars to build the Gordie Howe Bridge in one of the most important trade corridors in the world. It carries $1 billion in goods every day. It's essential to both countries, and it stands as a symbol of what's possible when Canada and America work as partners. Unfortunately, it's also become a reminder of a difficult truth, that agreements only matter when all parties honor them. Donald Trump decided he didn't want to honor the agreement between our two countries to open the bridge without changes. So Canada accommodated him, effectively delaying how fast we'll be paid back, and the bridge finally opened. And as I record this, here's why this matters. Because Canada and the US have negotiators at the table right now in Washington trying to bridge their differences on trade and prevent tariffs from further damaging the North American economy. But here's the problem. We already have a trade agreement with the US and Mexico. It's called CUSMA, or USMCA. It already has rules and commitments and consultation processes and dispute resolution mechanisms. And yet, with every new tariff threat, with every new tariff imposed, these rules are being ignored. Workers, farmers, businesses, and communities in all three countries are being forced to live with the consequences. Now, there are some who say, given all this, we should just walk away. We shouldn't be at that table. Others say we should strike a deal at almost any price. Well, I respectfully disagree with both. We can't just walk away. Canada remains tied to the US market. And yes, we're strengthening our economy, we're building new infrastructure, we're removing internal trade barriers, we're diversifying our trade globally. But all this will take time. Some relief from sectoral tariffs at the right cost can help us bridge the gap. That's why Canada has to pursue a comprehensive deal that addresses and protects the needs of Canadian workers and businesses. But here's where I disagree with those who say peace at any price. Canada simply cannot reward Donald Trump's dishonesty with unilateral concessions. Not a single one. No concessions unless we get something in return, in the form of significant relief for the industries that he has so wrongly attacked. Canadians have been very clear about how they feel about this. We see this in poll after poll. This is a moment for resolve, not retreat. It's a moment when we can neither give in nor give up. And so here are a few things that we need to do. First, Canada has to protect its North American foundation while building stronger trade and security ties with Europe and Asia and other democratic partners. The United States is going to remain our largest trading partner, but it cannot be our only strategy. Canadian businesses need more options because that means more markets and more resilience. Second, business diversification has to become a national priority and a national strategy. We already have trade agreements that give our companies preferential access to major global markets, but too few firms, particularly small and mid-sized businesses, are actually using them, walking through those doors. And that's why businesses, business organizations, and governments have to work together so that more companies can export and grow and compete. Third, we need to finish the job here at home. Interprovincial trade barriers still make it way too hard to do business right across the country. And if we want more leverage abroad, we simply need a stronger and more integrated economy here at home. One economy, not 13, one for each province and territory. And finally, we need to stay united. We know that tariffs are going to affect some regions and some industries more than others, but Canada's response must be national. We cannot allow external pressure to divide provinces, industries, or communities from one another. When our rules-based trading system is threatened, every Canadian has a stake in defending it. That's why the Ontario Chamber has encouraged the Prime Minister to address Canadians directly about the road ahead. We need to hear that even if a deal is struck, there's going to still be uncertainty, particularly with the US. And that while our economy has been resilient and even robust lately, fortunately, the path ahead is not going to be linear. There are going to be sharp twists and turns. The good news, the really good news, is that Canada is not powerless. We have leverage, we have allies, we have one another, and we have the ability to build a stronger and more resilient economy that depends on fair rules, reliable partners, and bridges to the wider world. That's how Canada fights back, with discipline, with unity, and with confidence. It's how we negotiate from strength and make our businesses and our economy stronger. Thank you, and see you next time.